How to not get attached to things? See, this feels like a very powerful question. It is a question with a lot of subtleties to it, and I felt several things when I was asked that. I said, see, a lot of people have this obsession in a way to control things. They all wish to be in a state in which everything is perfect. They don't have to struggle at all. It's well underlined a bit by controlling people in your life and unhealthy expectations towards things. But see, people have to understand one thing. You don't have to attach yourself to things necessarily, but anything that you use, anything that you touch, anything that, well, you make at least a bit of use to them, you cannot do that without a certain attachment. Yes? Because everything has something that you acknowledge the moment you integrate it into your life. It has a certain role, it has something which you preset, but maybe you're not conscious of it, right? But you know that your PC you will use for certain things, your friends you will enjoy their presence, yes, and you will goof around with or the such. So many other people will probably, I don't know, they will cause certain pains, or they will cause this, or they will allow you to experience something else. See, these things in life, one may become more and more obsessed with. And the obsession towards that reigns from the fact that, or comes from the fact that people don't have much control in their life. And when they have this obsession to control everything, see, you only can control how you react to things in the end. You cannot control the time of your body. You cannot control anything. You can at times not control even the energies of your body, unless you have a certain level of training, let's say. But you don't have control over anything. What you can control to a certain extent is what you put into your body, aka what air you breathe, what food you eat, what liquids you drink, and the such. You can choose what activities to do, how to spend your time, but you don't have control over what will happen in your life. A lot of people end up, therefore, obsessed with having things, right? And if they have things, then comes a new obsession that those things must not be lost. And these things become very energy consuming. So the point is, you don't necessarily need to worry about becoming unattached to things. Unattachment is, well, more or less a fantasy thing. Because once you become too obsessed with something, you also become too obsessed with not losing it. So you will seek a way to make sure that, or to assure yourself that that will not happen. So you will either seek, if you become wiser, or you want to become wiser, you will seek a way to become less obsessed because maybe you want more time for something else and to focus on other things as well. Or if you're becoming more compulsive, how to make sure that that will not be lost ever. Now, everything can be lost in life. The problem with teaching and with ignorance is that everything in life is taught that it has an end. Well, while physicality has an end, you have to understand everything around you is basically life. Even the building that you live in is technically life. Well, you may say it doesn't have a soul, but I assure you it has a certain, let's put it in a way, awareness. It has a certain sense of being, let's say. Haven't you noticed when some people live inside a house, whether the house is well treated or not, it seems to be in a certain way. When the family moves away, after a certain time, nobody handles that house, nobody enters that house, nobody even approaches the house, but it seems as if it is haunted, right? It feels as if, well, it's not haunted though, but it seems that its situation grows very bad in a very short time span, right? Or, well, it may take long, but you will see its windows will break by unknown causes. You will see damage appears without any necessary observable cause, right? So everything that you have around you has a certain life on its own. Even machines that we use, they also have a life on its own, right? Because when you compare it to the science of biological beings, right? Electronic beings, they have a battery, right? Now, that battery, compared to the biological beings, that battery can be recharged, right? You cannot recharge your life, but you can recharge the vitality that you have by simply taking a nap, right? When you get tired, well, you take some nap, and well, you kind of get yourself recharged for the next day. Similarly, phones do the same. But the vitality of the physical body, right, slowly dwindles. So that is why sooner or later it becomes incompatible with life. So both the physical body that you are in and the machines that you use, they have a certain lifespan in which they can, let's say, hold, let's say, the life that they are, right? Now, I'm not saying that machines actually have a soul or whatever humans want to portray, but the very simple point is they have a certain lifespan in which they actually work. Afterwards, they are just a remain, right? When your computer breaks, it's still the same pieces, right? But something doesn't click anymore. And in some cases, it can no longer even be repaired, right? To the physical body, it is the same. But ignorant minds will always call this as death, right? Death is, the greatest fear of narcissists, and narcissism is the apex of misery. In a miserable society, obviously, everyone will tend to have some narcissistic tendencies, so obviously, death will be a great fear of those. Everything that they cannot comprehend is gonna be a fear, and they will fear everything sooner or later, yes, because, well, most people are kind of prosophobic. They don't want progress because they cannot control things, right? So, in order to understand this, one way to simply distance yourself from attachment is to simply become more and more aware of everything that you have and of the fact that, well, sooner or later, you may no longer have it, right? Not just because someone may steal it, but gratitude is a very powerful weapon because gratitude reminds you that there may come one moment when the people around you may no longer be around. Don't forget, people come and people go. Maybe you hate your parents, maybe you don't like your family much, but there might come a time when they will pass away. And you may come to the realization sooner or later that all the pains you think they have inflicted upon you, maybe some of them you continued upon yourself. Because they programmed you to believe that life is a certain layer of pain, and you kept doing the same thing that you've been programmed by them. So, most likely, it will happen to a lot of people, especially from abusive families, once their parents are no longer around, or, well, maybe they even passed away a long time, they still do the same destructive cycles, right? Because, programming goes deep, and the problem is, programming is also a blind spot of each and every one of us. Everyone may think nowadays that they are independent, but they just, suck a big lie because if you say you are independent, you are different or distant from other people's behaviors as well, because you are capable of acting on your own whims. But when you take a better look at yourself, you're probably laughing the same way as someone whom you like, or your mother, or your father. You're having probably a body posture very similar to someone else. And well, all of these things can also have a certain genetic influence, right? Because as you age up, the influences of your ancestors will slowly and surely become a bit more relevant. It is up to us, to each and every one of us, to live life from a more conscious perspective. Once we do that, once we live life from a conscious perspective, well, then it becomes somewhat easier because the more consciously someone lives their own life, unconscious behaviors within us, the compulsions of us and our ancestors, will no longer have much of a grasp upon us. Though, be reminded, this is not something you will be capable of doing each and every time. So, gratitude is a very powerful means for this. It doesn't need any spiritual, enrichment. It doesn't need any ritual. It doesn't need anything. When you go to bed, just think of all the things that you have. You have your PC, you have a laptop, maybe you have a car, you have some things. You can simply thank whatever you believe in for everything that you have. You can also thank yourself for all the effort that you have done. You can also thank all the people that, have helped you one way or another. You can thank God or whatever force you believe in for all the help you received, all the people that are in your life Good and bad, because bad people in your life are also lessons, right? That you might need to learn something. Yes, some people may not be the best, teachers in terms of kindness, but pain is also good in life because it reminds you that you exist. Not getting attached to it is the key. But the point is, pain from time to time is good, right? Look at athletes. They constantly evolve through pain, right? They constantly deal damage to themselves and then they regain, their strength. They regenerate faster and they cope with effort more and more, even if it kind of shortens, the stability of their physical body. A lot of them may start having some issues with their physical body later on in life. But it is a path some people choose, and everything in a way has a cost. But when one lives life, it is best to simply keep a certain distance from everything. Now, this may be impossible to a lot of people, especially if they are control freaks or especially if they fear loneliness. Because people who fear loneliness, not only do they become control freaks, but they will also obsess about keeping their mind distracted because they'll always be on a run away from anything that may be a reminder of what they are. See, when loneliness knocks at your door, it is important to open the door from time to time because that is technically what you were supposed to be like, what everyone else chose you not to be. Because everyone will want you to be in a certain way to suit their fucking egos. But one has to comprehend, why would you want to be something else or someone else, right? If most of the people around you are ruins, why would you want to agree to align yourself to their illness, right? Aligning yourself to the, miseries of a sick society doesn't come as any proof that you would be healthy mentally, spiritually, psychologically, right? Let the trash join trash. You don't need to waste your time with it, right? So when it comes to life, see, being a bit generous is not a bad thing from time to time if resources allow. But gratitude is always a powerful weapon. You don't have to necessarily thank people in person because showing gratitude to the wrong people can let them see you as some kind of fool or a weakling, and you don't want such openings. Let people think that you are whatever they think you are. It is not your problem. It is and should not be your problem how other people label you. In many situations, probably you won't even know because a lot of people will talk behind your back. But when you wake up, just smile for once because how you start your day, it's going to have a certain impact and it's going to have a very great influence on how the rest of your day will be. If you start your life with misery, horrible news, and the such, obviously your whole rest of the day will be similar or will be deeply impacted by that. Just smile and thank yourself or creation or whatever you believe in for yet another day that you got to live in. Yes, when you go to bed, or whenever you use something, you can thank yourself for actually being capable of using that, right? But yet another secret is do not turn this into a habit because a habit means you're doing it mechanically. And mechanical, recognition of things is not good, right? If you are grateful for things mechanically, well, that doesn't count. So hopefully this video raised a bit of awareness. You are appreciated. Take care, enjoy life, and this being said, Ferinjan Board signing out.